for the kingship. He will never get it. Even hapa Nairobi, hata tutasema ya governorship ambayo inakuja Nairobi. Truth be told, Babu atapata governor Nairobi. The governorship is going to Central Kenya, and that is the truth. And I want to say it here. Governor in Nairobi in Central. I know most of you will not agree with this, but governorship in Central Kenya.
Right now, already Owino came out and said the stories that are doing rounds on how Raila died were different from what exactly happened. Then you realize that we're supposed to be mourning, and Babu is making it about himself. And we're actually giving him airtime to the extent that even the photo that we were supposed to be having, which was supposed to be Raila's, we have Babu's instead. We're supposed to be mourning a whole Raila. The truth is as follows. The fact that we have Babu's photo here is a disappointment, I'll be honest and tell you guys. Kenya, we are headed to a place where it is character that is going to determine where we are headed. It cannot be. We cannot stop right now and decide that even in the future we are going about personalities, and especially tainted personalities such as Babu. If you guys go to the evidence of who Babu has been, even in university days, please stop mentioning this caliber of mediocrity that you have put on our screens.
During Baba's sunset years, sunset days, Babu fought Baba. Anything that Babu is going to be doing now, henceforth, fine. Maunga, yours is personal, and I tend to think...
You think it's personal? You know, that is usually the problem with you people who do not want to reason beyond the fact that it is glaring in our faces, that the country is going in the wrong direction, but we want to be myopic.
Yeah. There's this lady called Maverick Ahoko. Maverick Ahoko is blogger number 1 for Babu Owino. And some of the things that this lady has been posting about Raila Odinga and the Odinga's family, they were so derogatory, so sensitive, to the extent that if anybody cared to listen or cared to know, Babu Owino ought to have called this woman, who is his own blogger, to desist. There is a time...
In a mature way. In politics, you don't force things. First and foremost, the guy showed Baba the middle finger. He never showed any sign of respect to Raila when he was still alive. You can't be claiming now to want to come to Nyanza to become the leader of the Luo. By the time when we had a leader, you went ahead and held a meeting wearing a hat for another party, claiming that, oh, you are now the one who is endorsing. Manze, it doesn't work like that. When Raila had problems with Ford Kenya, he had to resign from the party, formed his own party, went back to the ballot. He got elected. So, when you want to walk away from a party, leave the party, go and form your own party, start claiming that power. But does Babu has that power to claim the low leadership? He doesn't have it. Where is his roots? Because already Raila was well known to be from Bondo, the son of the Jaramogi. Who is Babu's father? Where does he come from? His originality. They do not just give out power just for somebody who is an outsider. They give power to a person whom they know that the community will be in a safe hand. Apart from that, which kind of politics do Babu play? Is it just for publicity, or does he play politics that somebody can see that there is something good in it? Raila never played just public gallery. He was very smart. He knew when to address issues of the country. When do Babu normally addresses the issues of the country? He waited in the time of the turmoil for him to come in, to be seen. Raila rose by always addressing issues. He knew what was bad for the country. That's why whenever he sees anything wrong, he used to come out and say, okay, this is what is happening in the government. To Babu, what has he done? When it came to debating in the National Assembly, Baba was the topmost debaters in the National Assembly. He contributed into bills that made most of the acts of the parliament that came into law into this country. When it comes to Babu, this is his second term in parliament. What has he done as a member of parliament for his second time? He hasn't done anything in parliament apart from coming out making noises out here. Leadership for the community is seek through showing that you are fighting for them, but not fighting for your own personal gain. When we are mourning, how can you come out and post that some people want to injure you or to cause harm unto you? How? For sure. What have you done to them? If you know that you have not done anything wrong to the community, why are you afraid? Conduct yourself well. Go and help the community in mourning one of their own soldiers in peace, in a very, and let us give him a very good burial. But you are out here claiming and making noise on Facebook. For what? For sure. We have seen leaders who have been with Baba through thick and thin, but they're not making those kind of careless proclamation or statements. So the guy has, there are people who have worked with the party, they have fought for the party, they have remained firm to the party, and they have never walked away from Baba. Babu kept on working in media stations, claiming that the ODM party are not going to give him the ticket. That he knows that he's not going to be given the ticket. He's sure that he's planning what he is planning. How can it work like that? How can you fight your leader by the time it is like fighting the father? So, for the kingship, he will never get it. Even hapa Nairobi, hata tutasema ya governorship ambayo inakuja ya Nairobi. Truth be told, Babu atapata governor Nairobi. The governorship is going to Central Kenya, and that is the truth. And I want to say it here. Governor in Nairobi in Central. I know most of you will not agree with this, but governorship in Central Kenya for the first time. Every one of you let be ready for that. Governorship haizipata Nairobi. He was going to ride on the sympathy ya kwamba ODM imemnyima ticket. Now hiyo sympathy alikuwa anangojea haiko. So he's now went again to ride on the sympathy ya kwamba wanataka kuniumiza. Nobody is going to umiza Babu Owino. Nobody. If he means truth, that he was serving Baba with truthfulness. The same people who came out wakati Baba Roma amaita kwa nini kwa ODM at 20 celebration, wakakuja badala ile letter invitation alitumiwa, badala reply ile letter in good faith, they went into the media telling them that they will not go there. For what sake?
Steve, do you know we've succeeded to do what Babu wanted us to do? And if anyone is looking keenly through this thing, now finally you know who Babu is working for. Right now, already Owino came out and said the stories that are doing rounds on how Raila died were different from what exactly happened. Then you realize that we're supposed to be mourning and Babu is making it about himself. And we're actually giving him airtime to the extent that even the photo that we were supposed to be having, which was supposed to be Raila's, we have Babu's instead. We're supposed to be mourning a whole Raila. The truth is as follows. Anyone who watched that clip of Babu shooting that DJ, if you can replay that clip, you will know that exactly the scenes that played out in that field in 1992 when Ruto strangled that boy that Jirongo tells us about, and he was left to go scot-free. And now he has come and he has been the reason why we have had to bury so many people, is playing out in Babu. Kenya is going to a different level. I don't know if you guys have realized that the song that has constantly been sung is that Ongenga Mababo Senego. It is a big deal when you've never had blood in your hands. Kenya is going to a dispensation where the generations that were there before are not the ones that are going to determine the future of this country, and they're not going to be there. These children came out and reminded us of what statesmanship is. They reminded us of what kind of a country we need to have. These children displayed to us that personality is not important, but that character is everything. We clearly know that Babu does not have the kind of character that we can send into a future that we want to grow old in. And yet we are here busy discussing him when we have lost a hero such as Raila. The fact that he disagreed with Raila is a given. I similarly did disagree with Raila. He broke my heart as and when he ought to have stood. Because Raila has died in the manner in which he has died, most Kenyans should now sit back and ask, knowing that my tomorrow is not assured, what will my contribution be? That my tomorrow is grateful that I lived at all. What is it that I can do now that even if I fall tomorrow like Baba did, everybody who remembers interacting with me remembers that I made a contribution that was important. Hata kama nilianza na mwili nikamaliza, at least nimalize na roho. But isikue kwamba nimekuwa kwa mwili ninamaliza na mwili, ama nilianza na roho nimemaliza na mwili, like in the case of Baba was the case. Right now, everything that we're witnessing in the way in which Baba is being celebrated is merely because of the history that he has built, but not that he's in the hearts of Kenyans the way he was. Had he been in the hearts of Kenyans the way he was pre-Ruto, trust me, it would have been different. Guys would have seen some mourning that has never been witnessed anywhere in the world. But right now, the fact that we have Babu's photo here is a disappointment, I'll be honest and tell you guys. Kenya, we are headed to a place where it is character that is going to determine where we are headed. It cannot be. We cannot stop right now and decide that even in the future we are going about personalities, and especially tainted personalities such as Babu. If you guys go to the evidence of who Babu has been, even in university days, try and link to all the deaths that are occurring even in young people due to drug trafficking and everything else. It points towards him. And here we are discussing. I feel very, very disappointed, guys. We are supposed to be discussing a Kenya that we are confident in growing old in. We are supposed to be discussing a Kenya that is different. We are not supposed to be discussing personalities who have baggage. We have the likes of Owino Oluga, the PS for Health. That young man, if at all he was to rise as any kingship, now that Luos are seeming to have a vacuum, if he was to rise in Luoland, for instance, he would restore what the Luo Kitimbe are about. He would replace what we are looking for in terms of character. He would replace our children knowing that education is something that is worthy. He would replace something that is known that when somebody has money, they can account for their money and where they're getting it from and what they're using it for. But most importantly, he would live as an epitome of character, the character that we need. Can we stop as Kenyans now, decide that this man we are mourning, why are we mourning him in the manner in which you're mourning him? And then as we are moving forward, who will we be referring to as a leader? What will they have done to earn themselves that title, a leader? And then what baggage do they have that Kenya does not need in the future? Please let us not discuss mediocrity. We cannot afford to do another level of mediocre. Guys, you do not live in anyone's house. Your children will not live in anybody's house. We will depend on systems and structures that will safeguard this nation. This nation is in a pit. It is being dug from that pit. We're trying to get ourselves out of that pit and rebuilding Kenya with character. Please stop mentioning this caliber of mediocrity that you have put on our screens. Asante.
Thank you. Now, I want to echo the words of Maunga, but she's wrong in some areas. Number one, henceforth, the narrative is going to be that during Baba's sunset years, sunset days, Babu fought Baba. Anything that Babu is going to be doing now, henceforth, it will be like he is fighting Raila. Remember, Raila is dead, but the spirit lives on. I may disagree with my sister Maunga here, that he disagreed with Raila Odinga having taken the path of having a handshake with William Ruto. But Raila being the leader of the Luo nation, he had to give direction. You can imagine what would have happened if Raila still died today, still calling for Maandamano Tuesdays and Maandamano Thursdays and still getting exposés from government. It got to a time that he said, no, I want to finish and finish well. Right now, I don't know why you are disappointed when the biggest ministries in this government were handed over to the Luo nation. So if there was anything that Baba wanted to do, when he gets power, he can still do it through his people. Opiyo Wandayi is in charge of electricity, power. Mbadi is in charge of the national treasury. Joho is in charge of marine and blue economy. Lake Victoria and the coast region. This was Baba's stronghold. Look at Oparanya, cooperatives. The young people should get money, the young people should be empowered. So it got to a time that Baba had to give direction. Most likely because they say there is what we call premonition. Maybe Baba saw that his days were numbered and he had to give direction. Development were taken to Nyanza. Positions were taken to Nyanza. Even Owino Oluga you're quoting is Baba who handed him over to William Ruto to be appointed. Look at that young man who eulogized Raila today. Jaoko, Baburu. These are people working in government. So it got to a time that Baba had to give direction. That, hey, I've been fighting for this thing because I wanted this change, but no, I didn't get it. But now I have the opportunity.
What has it, by the way?
Pardon?
What has it helped us with? What has the direction helped us with? Those positions that you're claiming those guys hold.
Yeah,
what have they been? How have they directly benefited the Luo people?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Right now, should I go to a hospital and I need to use SHA and SHA isn't working? How do I call Wandayi because he's the minister of what? Do I even call that Oluga himself? The reason why I'm mentioning Oluga is because I'm not talking about the positions they hold in a government that they are pretty much just titled for. Those guys basically just bear titles. It's not like they wield any power and that there's anything they're doing in as far as their portfolios are concerned. They are simply there as stooges. So the truth is, all these people that you're claiming have portfolios, they're totally irrelevant. The fact that the country right now is being sold and auctioned, the kind of bills that were signed into law as and when Raila just was filed 3 days ago, those things are going to affect us long term. The kind of theft that is going on in this nation are going to be affecting us long term, irrespective of which Luo holds what. So do not necessarily think at any one point that being a Luo and the fact that those Luos hold those positions just because of titles and salaries they're taking to their wives is anything of importance to us as a country. Some of us do not care about our communities. Some of us care about the title a country. So
Let me
that is
respond
why
to
you're
you.
seeing we are trying to identify character in the leadership that we are going in. We are not going into personalities. We are going into the
Maunga,
fabric for Kenya.
okay, fine. Maunga, yours is personal, and I tend to think.
I think it's personal. You know, that is usually the problem with you people who do not want to reason beyond the fact that it is glaring in our faces that the country is going in the wrong direction, but
Maunga,
we want to be myopic.
Maunga,
Listen, okay, learn to
Maunga.
listen also. We
Can I
gave you
ask you a
time. Let me
question?
respond, and then I'll. Stephen, let me just
Yeah.
finish with her first.
Okay.
Now, initially, Maunga was making a lot of sense to me, but right now I can hear
I
Kashagwa's
really
voice.
don't care, by the way. Usually, I do not care up until the point where I stop making sense to you is where we depart. That is not a problem. It is your opinion, which you're entitled to, by the way. I'm not forcing my opinions on you. I'm not trying to transfer my brains on you. As for the
Now,
fact that we hold different opinions on something, that is the reason why we are diverse.
now you've shifted from not making sense to being emotional. Now, listen.
I don't really particularly care. I'm a woman. We carry emotions for that reason. There's something called emotional intelligence that the world is seeking very, very hard. And that is something that women have. And especially, normally, whenever someone tells me I'm being emotional, I know that I have something that the world needs. So don't think it's anything that I'll consider derogatory.
All right, I didn't.
Steve,
say
you
you're
had a
woman.
question.
No, let me finish. Steve will talk.
Steve, you
and
had
I'm
a
sure.
question. Ask me the question. I'm likely just to be dropping out. Steve, you had a question that you wish for me to respond to.
Steve, don't ask now. Let me talk fast. If she wants to drop, she can. Now, this is what I was saying. For Babu, we know. I had said number one, anything he's going to be doing from now to the future, it will appear like he's been fighting Baba during his sunset years, and he'll continue fighting Baba. Babu is not known anywhere in Luo Nyanza politics other than sloganeering. Number two, for those people who've been keen enough on social media, there's this lady called Maverick Ahoko. Maverick Ahoko is blogger number one for Babu Owino. And some of the things that this lady has been posting about Raila Odinga and the Odinga's family, they were so derogatory, so sensitive, to the extent that if anybody cared to listen or cared to know, Babu Owino ought to have called this woman, who is his own blogger, to desist. There is a time this lady attacked one Pauline Njoroge, who is now in the Mrengo where Babu belongs, and she came and made a post and said, I wanted to attack Pauline, but Babu called me, and because I only respect him, I'm not going to attack Pauline Njoroge. But this lady has been attacking Raila. She even declared Raila dead 2 weeks ago. And this is a person working for Babu Owino as a blogger. Number three, as Flemsy had said, Babu is known in parliament not for proper legislation or meaningful legislation, but only for creating soundbites using jargons in parliament to make trends on TikTok and attack other people. Nothing meaningful. So those who are telling us that Babu should, even Raila took over power from his father, that is not true. If you look at the struggle that Baba talks about, being jailed, to multi-party democracy, to attempted coup in 1982, to 2002 when he said Kibaki Tosha, to being jailed and tear gassed even by Uhuru's government, Babu has not gone through any of those things. He cannot appear now, and some people who are based in Nairobi are now saying, because Babu can come and give us catchy slogans, Babu can come and direct us and say, now boys, young people, let's go and demonstrate. That is not all. And somebody asked, I asked as I started, he's called Paul Ongili. Other than the name Ongili, what makes Babu Luo? Being a kingpin of Luo Nyanza means you must be in charge of ODM because that is their party. This is a person who defected 3 weeks ago. He left ODM and he said, I'll not get a ticket. Now, how can that person now come and be the kingpin of the Luo community where ODM is the primary party? Yet he had left. So he is trying to bring other things. He knows that he messed up. He downgraded Baba when he was still alive. He discussed succession, which ordinarily you don't disinherit your father when still alive. You don't. So some of the things he did, they're now haunting him. So he thinks now he can use power, buy alcohol, use social media and bloggers to try. I can see, even Obina, he's not even mourning Baba. Every time he's Babu kwa sababu. That will not work. That is not how... You see, that is the problem people in Western Kenya have had for some time. That's why Western Kenya is always considered not to be united. We always talk about Mulembe unity every election period, but it has never happened because there are people who try to force. But for Luo Nyanza, it is going to be, if Opio Ondai says, this is my leader, Mbadi says, this is my leader, Millie Adhiambo comes and says, this is the leader we've agreed, Gladys Wanga comes and says, this is the leader we've agreed, what will Babu Owino do? In fact, other than Edwin Sifuna, who is from the Western Kenya, who else in ODM supports Babu Owino from Luo Nyanza? Leave alone Kibagendi because of self-interest. Who else? So this is a young man who is now going to be rendered politically irrelevant. He's going to be thrown into oblivion because somebody has said rightfully, watu ambao wanachocha Babu right now, they are the people wanamdanganya takupea kura. Na mtu amesema hapa, the next governor for Nairobi might be from the Mount Kenya region. And those are the people ambao wana cheer Babu right now because he's opposing Raila, he's opposing Ruto. But when he'll come back to them asking for votes, that's the time they realize, no, this is Luo, we don't vote for Luos.